Hello there guys, welcome back to Blues Fans TV for another live news update video, the latest Chelsea news for you guys, because there has been some fairly big developments surrounding Timo Werner actually. Please let me know if the sound is this time better and I'm a bit louder, because in my last live stream I was a bit quiet. So let me know whether this is better right now. That is pretty much what I'm hoping for. But let's just get straight into the news. Before that though, please subscribe. Alright, you were not meant to see a black screen instead. But please subscribe to Blues Fans TV if you haven't already. We're still on our way to 100,000 subscribers, so that would be massively appreciated if you could subscribe and drop a like on this live stream / on this video if you're watching it at a later point. But let's just get into the news, because it has come out that Timo Werner was left out of RB Leipzig's Champions League squad for the remaining, well, I guess, games this season. Of course, it has not yet at any point actually been confirmed when the Champions League, last few games will take place. There are rumours that it's taking place in the middle of August, and the last round of 16 games taking place in early August, and then it's kind of going to be a Final 8 tournament in Lisbon, and the same goes for the Europa League with a Final 8 tournament in Germany. But, the reported story is that Timo Werner is not in the Leipzig squad for that, because obviously the Bundesliga will end at the end of June. Obviously their league campaign with only 18 teams is only 34 games long. The Bundesliga restarted much sooner than the Premier League, is, with the first game taking place tomorrow again. So they will be finished much sooner. So he could actually leave if he doesn't play in the Champions League for them. He could actually leave to join Chelsea before our league is even fully over, to at least train with us to, get a better head start. And also, it's just less games to play in for a different team to possibly get injured, which of course, does make sense. But, some people have questioned it. Some people have questioned it. If it was the other way around, wouldn't we be fuming? Possibly, but it is an understandable decision regardless. I mean, he's kind of stuck there for God knows how long then, to play the Champions League, probably one round, because Leipzig are, I would personally say, depending on who they get drawn against, rather unlikely to go past the quarterfinals. Play possibly one game, because there is rumours that, the semi-final and quarterfinal are only going to be played over one leg. For one leg to stay with them for 1.5 months more than he would actually need to, basically. And also, there's no confirmed date as of yet when the Premier League will return for the 2020-21 season. And, at that point, once the Champions League is over, there might only be 2 weeks left until we actually start the Premier League. So our pre-season, stuff, and also, probably would it, having to play in the Champions League would already take place before that. So he'd be coming in very late, which would obviously hamper his start to his Chelsea career. So it makes sense. I've seen, like I said, some people question whether, if it was the other way around and a Chelsea player would be leaving us, and this was the scenario basically, would we be annoyed? Possibly so, but there is always the pros. You're always happy about it when it's about a player joining you, and you're always annoyed about it when it's about a player leaving you. So it does make sense in the end. The only minor little thing is, which I couldn't find again, otherwise I would have even put it in the title, but I did see a minor report that the UEFA are also deciding on either today or tomorrow whether the transfer regulations for the Champions League will change, because obviously there is a big debate happening for what happens with the Champions League now, right? Because usually you have to name a squad in summer for the kind of the group stages, and then you have to name a squad in January for the knockout stages of the Champions League. But now think about it, many clubs will have lost some players, because either their contracts have run out or they've sold them before we actually play the remaining Champions League and Europa League fixtures. So they can't actually still name that same squad that they named in January. So then there now is this debate as to, can you register newly signed players that you sign in the summer? And there is obviously a debate to be had that should be possible. Right now, as the rules stand right now, that of course isn't allowed, but there is, apparently it is part of the agenda of what the UEFA will discuss in their meeting, as well as where exactly the Champions League Final 8 and Europa League Final 8 will take place. So it is apparently on the agenda to discuss whether, these rules might be changed for new summer signings this summer to be allowed to play in the remaining fixtures in the Champions League, simply because this whole situation that stopped football for so long now just is a drastic difference, and it isn't as normal anymore. Of course, usually you couldn't do this, obviously, because you couldn't even move. You know what I mean? Like, you couldn't move before the summer, so you couldn't move before the Champions League was over and play for the different team in the Final 8 kind of situation, or for us, probably, even if we do sign Werner and Havertz and all of them would be allowed to play for us against Bayern Munich in the second leg, we're still not going to turn that leg around. Let's be honest right now. But let me just wait. Let me just go here. Okay, sorry. But it would still be, I guess, a positive for us. But I think the main thing for Werner isn't to try and play for us in the Champions League. That's certainly not his main focus. I just wanted to touch on it because I've read it. But the main focus is to not get injured, to focus on Chelsea, and to get out of the Bundesliga when the Bundesliga is over. You know, if he, saw a realistic chance of Leipzig winning the Champions League, I'm sure he wouldn't be doing this. But as, like I am, he probably thinks, well, they probably won't get any further than the quarterfinal anyway. Of course, they already are in the quarterfinal after going past Spurs in the round of 16. You could argue a lot of things. But I think it's a good decision. I think it's an understandable decision. I think it's a decision by the player to just, focus on himself and prioritize himself, which I think is understandable. Of course, so far it still hasn't been officially confirmed the team of Werner will join us. There are also kind of disputing reports as to how long his release clause was actually active for. Initially was always said the 15th of June, which of course was yesterday. Another report stated that's actually wrong, and his release clause runs until the 15th of July. But what most of the reports are saying is that we actually agreed a deal with Leipzig kind of outside of the release clause, because his release clause initially included two different fees for whether they qualify for the Champions League for next season or not. So if they do qualify for the Champions League, his release clause would have been £55 million, and if they don't, it's £50 million, right? But because obviously everything that happened, the Bundesliga isn't over yet. When his release clause, I'm gonna still assume it was the 15th of June, expires, they're kind of like, well, we don't know yet. So apparently we agreed a 53 or 54 million pounds deal with them to kind of like be in between. If they make it, they get a bit less. If they don't, they get a bit more than, they would have done with the release clause. So, that's kind of the agreement that seems to be on the cards right now. And there are varying reports. Some are saying, it could be finalized this week, and some are even saying it could be made official this week, his move obviously from RB Leipzig in the Bundesliga to Chelsea Football Club. And there are also, of course, many talks about Kai Havertz. There's so many different reports. I think it's very difficult to judge at the moment which ones could be real, which ones are fake. You know what I mean? Some are saying Bayern now lead the race. Some are saying, Real Madrid are now back in it. They lead the race. Some are saying Bayern can't afford him and don't want to afford him, especially if they want to get Leroy Sané from Man City, and Real Madrid are in a tricky situation anyways, with obviously Spain and financial situation and stuff. And then they're saying we're in the front seat basically to get him. It's very difficult to say. Will we get him soon? Will we not get him at all? Will this drag out over the whole summer to see if he leaves and who he leaves for? Like I said, I think it's very difficult to predict, in all honesty. But just to mention it again, if you're here, really do appreciate all of you guys that have tuned in. In a second, I will get to what you guys have put in the chat so far. And also, if you're watching this, please drop a like. That'd be massively appreciated. And if you're watching this as a video later on, also drop a like and leave me your thoughts on everything that I'm talking about down in the comment section below. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to Blues Fans TV. That'd be sick as well. But yeah, what else is there to talk about, really? I mean, like I said, the Werner news, the Havertz news, that there is no news, even though some people are apparently claiming that there is news. There's no real news, right? Nothing significant where you're like, this is big news, and you're like, there's a huge update on Havertz. From what I've seen, from what I've read, unless these people obviously have some inside information that I don't have, there's nothing specific, new, updatable on Kai Havertz at this moment in time. King Didier says, we need a left back mostly though. Alexander Jones says, shit, apparently. Where's my guy Lewis? He's out. Otherwise, he would have done this. What do you think of... Not going to do that one. Right, the club is holding the 7-1 highlights hostage. Yes, that is something I might as well mention. On Sunday, Chelsea played in-house friendly against Reading, actually at Stamford Bridge. Was it Reading? No, Reading was the one we won 1-0. Against QPR, we won 7-1, pardon me. At Stamford Bridge, Ruben Loftus-Cheek scored 2 goals. Billy Gilmour scored 2 goals. Mason Mount, Willian and Olivier Giroud with the other 3 goals. We won 7-1. Brilliant. Ruben Loftus-Cheek is back. Apparently he looks much slimmer and very, very fit, which is brilliant, of course. And like the guy said, the highlights are clearly almost held hostage by Chelsea, because we're like, can we just bloody see these highlights and these goals? Should us be switched to playing centre-back full-time? No, absolutely not. Not in the back four. He's not a centre-back in the back four at all. Imagine beating Villa 7-1. Sadly not going to happen. Ruben scoring is big news. I completely agree, Lobsang. 0 trophies piped down. Don't know who you're on about, but fair enough. We need to get rid of Emerson and use Alonso as a really good backup. Sign up Tagliafico and maybe a new centre-back in Tar. Don't know about Tar as a new centre-back, to be honest, mate. Not sure I'm a big fan of that. Whether we keep Emerson or Alonso, I don't really have much of a preference. I think there's a much better left-back in Emerson. If you can show what he did early in this season, he's a much better left-back. But if he can't show that again, like he did for the remainder of the season, then Alonso, just because he has such a goal threat, is probably the more obvious choice, I guess. Chilwell isn't Champions League proven, so he could flop a little bit if we sign him. Well, you always have that debate. Chilwell is Champions League proven, but he's Premier League proven. Tagliafico, yeah, okay, he's Champions League proven for really one season, realistically, right? They made the semi-finals once. Other than that, I mean, they didn't even make it out the group stage this year, okay? It was a bit unlucky and unfortunate with the results in our tough group, but still. So, you know, I wouldn't say the proven part is what, you know, puts Tagliafico ahead of Chilwell, for example. Not Chilwell, please, Frank. Yeah, I wouldn't mind Chilwell as the general option, but not for as much money as he seems to, you know, cost us if we wanted to get him. What else are we saying? If Kepa makes more mistakes in the last 9, get Onana? Absolutely not. Can you name the midfield we should play? Full stop or against Villa? Against Villa, I would, well, I personally would go Billy Gilmour, Kovacic and Ruben Loftus-Cheek in a midfield 3 with Billy Gilmour at the base, a bit like Jorginho used to under Sarri especially. But what I'm pretty sure Frank Lampard will do is Kovacic, Kante and then Mason Mount at the number 10. That's what I'm expecting him to do in a 4-2-3-1. Our best... Ruben Loftus-Cheek, our best mid, can only Kovacic, but just my opinion. No, I agree with you. Ruben Loftus-Cheek is our best midfielder when he's fit. Right now is Kovacic. I say we keep Alonso if we need to switch to the backline and get a left-back upgrade. I mean, it depends on who we sign, innit? Because, yeah, Alonso is good at wing-back because of his massive goal threat, but if we get a wing-back that already has that makes him kind of irrelevant, then we might as well keep Emerson in that sense. The problem with half the Chelsea squad is inconsistency. For example, Barkley, Emerson, Batshuayi, Willian, and so many more. Yeah, I mean, inconsistency for Barkley and Batshuayi is a different kind of inconsistency to Willian, especially. I mean, Willian still has had some good games. Barkley has had about 2 in his entire Chelsea career. Ruben Loftus-Cheek is back. Yes, Blues fans TV, I want Emerson to go. Well, we'll see what happens. He's actually a good option for left-back as he's £40 million buyback. But I'm still not sure whether this £40 million pounds buyback clause still is active, because there was many reports in January that ran out then. Some people said, okay, it actually runs till the summer. No one's really sure as far as I'm aware. I don't think it's a good enough left-back option at all, and I think it's a bit too short for centre-back, so I don't see the point where we would ever sign him. We need Gilmour. Well, we have him already. Alonso is a better backup. He has the experience. The experience of what? There's no point. No point in experience. I mean, there's also rumours that Alonso refused a pay cut because he's scared his pay cut will be used, you know, for new signings in the summer. Again, this is all rumours. I'm not saying this is necessarily true on what Alonso and a few other players, not just Alonso, did, but yeah, anyways. Any updates on Benrahma? This is one that we haven't actually mentioned yet. Right, so Benrahma from Brentford, Championship winger. There is a lot of talk right now that we might sign him. I don't know how legit that is. We do seem to be interested, but I'm unsure whether it's kind of a case of we will try to get Havertz. If we can't, we will get him. I don't really see the need for him. If I'm going to be totally honest with you, I don't really see the need for him. We have so many wingers. We have so many young wingers. Why would we sign a 24-year-old who's many years older than some of our wingers from the Championship? I don't know. I don't know. We're so close to 100k. Please help us reach it. Yes, what I think Sammy said in the chat. Do subscribe if you haven't already, and drop a like. Drop a like. Amrin is living the life. He's living the time of his life right now. Don't know what you're talking about, but yes. Come on, let's get our guys at Blues Fans TV 100,000 subscribed now. Yes, thank you, mate. We can us be a centre back? Absolutely not. Way too short to be a centre back in the back 4. But guys, I think I'm going to leave it here. Thank you guys for tuning in. I don't really have much more to add. Quite frankly, spoke about quite a lot anyway. Leave me your thoughts if you're watching this at a later point as a video. Leave me your thoughts on Werner, his decision basically to be left out of the Leipzig squad. Now, personally, I don't think this is a big deal. Now, you know, his contract doesn't necessarily run out, but if he signs a new contract with us, why would he stay there to keep playing if his new club, you know, he doesn't really care that much. He knows he's not going to win it with Leipzig. So what matters more to him if he moves to Chelsea is to get his Chelsea career underway positively. And if he only has 2 weeks or less or whatever to prepare before the Premier League starts, that's not the best solution. So personally, I don't even see why this is such a big deal, but it seems to be such a big deal, hence why we've made this live stream. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I really do appreciate all of you guys that have tuned in. Drop a like I said already, on this live stream and then the video later on. Leave me your thoughts down in the comment section below. Subscribe to Blues Fans TV if you haven't already. On our way to 100,000 subscribers. Help us reach it. We would massively appreciate it. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Up to Chelsea. And I'll see you when I see you.